The Miracle of Kiwi, a story of faith and perseverance. Today, after 2 months, I finally have the strength to relive one of the most difficult moments of my life. The pain was immense, but now I need to share this story because what happened was a true miracle. I want this experience to serve as inspiration for everyone facing challenges, for those who have lost something precious, and especially for those who love their pets and should never give up on them. The day of despair. January 2nd, on the morning of January 2nd, my husband opened the door and stepped outside with Kiwi on his shoulder. He wanted to grab a mirror for Kiwi to play with since he loves looking at his reflection. But at that moment, something unexpected happened. Seeing the mirror, Kiwi got scared, and before we could react, he flapped his wings and flew away. At first, he landed on a nearby tree, but soon after, he disappeared into a vast forest, heading into the unknown. Despair took over me. A ringneck raised indoors with semi-clipped wings, long enough for short flights, was now lost in a place full of enormous trees. How would we find him? How could we bring him back? How would he survive the night, the cold, the dangers, the relentless search and the pain of losing sight of him? We spent the entire day searching among the trees, calling his name, bringing food, and even taking Piu-piu along in hopes that Kiwi would respond. But nothing. Time passed, and the anguish only grew. At one moment, my husband came face to face with Kiwi. He was right there, within sight. Crying, my husband begged him to come home. But instead of returning, Kiwi flapped his wings again and flew even farther away. That moment shattered our hearts. We cried a lot, but still, I didn't give up. I prayed without ceasing, facing the forest, ignoring the risks. I knew there were dangers there, but my faith was stronger. I trusted in God's power, and He was guiding me. Then, in a moment of silence, we heard Kiwi's cry from afar. My heart raced. We ran in the direction of the sound, bringing Piu-piu. That's when something incredible happened. Kiwi and Piu-piu started communicating, as if Kiwi was asking for help. For the first time, we were able to locate him. Still, to us, rescuing him seemed impossible. But not to God. I prayed and prayed. But for 4 whole hours, we heard nothing more. He disappeared again into the silence of the forest. I didn't give up. I kept calling for him, shouting, "Kiwi! Kiwi!" hoping he would respond. As nightfall approached, we finally heard his voice again. He was in a tree. We called, we pleaded, but he wouldn't come down. My heart sank. I knew he was preparing to sleep. With a heavy heart, I once again put my trust in God. I knew that alone, Kiwi could be in danger. Predators could come. He could get scared and fly even farther away. But I placed everything in the Lord's hands. We returned home, tears in our eyes, but with the certainty that if it was God's will, Kiwi would still be there in the morning. The miracle. Kiwi's return before dawn. I returned to the same spot with only one certainty. God would guide me to Kiwi. Among thousands of surrounding trees, he was still there. He could have flown anywhere, but God kept him in that exact place. This wasn't a coincidence. It was supernatural. Carefully, without scaring him, I took a long branch and tied a sliced apple to the tip, something he loved. I lifted the branch, gently, and as he came to grab the apple, I slowly lowered it. Kiwi, my beloved Kiwi, was back in my arms. I cried. I hugged him. I gave thanks. That moment was living proof that faith moves mountains. That when you believe, when you surrender your pain and prayers to God, He hears and answers. Lessons from this story. Never doubt God's power. If you have faith and ask with all your heart, He can turn the impossible into reality. Never give up on your pets. They feel fear, cold, and hunger too. But if there is love, there is hope. Search until the very end. If you have a ringneck, clipping their wings is essential. This could have ended in tragedy. If you love your bird, protect them. Today, Kiwi is home, happy and safe. But this story is not just about him. It's about faith, about never giving up, about knowing that God is always in control, even in the hardest moments. If this story touched your heart, share it. Someone may need this message today. Kiwi came home, by the grace of God, by the power of faith.
Ai, que